Maestro Richard Bustillo, bienvenido otra vez a España. ¿Cómo quiere usted ser llamado? Señor Bustillo, Sifu, gran maestro.
I've been called many things. You can call me Richard. I've been called a master and grandmaster, but you can call me Richard. I have certifications for as a Sifu in Chinese Kung Fu, Guru in Filipino arts, Sensei, and so I've had many titles, but call me Richard.
Richard, ¿dónde ha nacido usted?
I was born in Honolulu, Hawaii. Raised there till I was 19, and I went to California for my university and lived in California ever since.
¿Con quién, dónde y con qué maestro empezó usted a practicar el contacto de arte marcial?
I've studied my martial arts in Hawaii when I was 8 years old. At first was judo for about a year until my family moved to another part of Hawaii, and I studied boxing at 10 years old. 10 years old for 2 years until my family moved for the third time in Waipahu, Hawaii, and I studied Kajikembo at age 14 up until high school. And after high school, I went to California for my university. I started boxing again, and at 24 years old, I met Bruce Lee and studied with Bruce Lee. That school, I met Santo, who became my training partner. Together, we have researched the Filipino arts, and today we are given credit to Revive, who have revived and promoted the Filipino martial arts worldwide. I have also studied Muay Thai from Thailand, people in Macarian, and Nangpa Satinglam, who was the former champion of Thai. I studied Kachis-Kachkan wrestling and various Filipino arts and jiu-jitsu. And my whole life has been learning the martial arts.
¿Siente usted un artista marcial o un practicante de deporte de contacto?
I am both a martial artist and sports martial arts. I'm a martial arts because I travel around the world to give martial arts seminars in all the ranges that I teach. The Filipino Kali for the weapon range, the Muay Thai boxing for the striking range, and Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, Aikido for the grappling range, and Bruce Lee, Jungfa, Jeet Kune Do. I'm a sportsman because I used to, or I still do, coach boxing and Muay Thai. I also do officiating in amateur boxing and kickboxing as a referee, judge, timekeeper, and a coach in sports martial arts.
¿Cuál de las artes marciales se considera usted un maestro o un experto?
I have a certificate, a 10th degree in Dosa Pares Eskrima. However, I don't consider my master or grandmaster. I'm a student for life in the martial arts.
¿Se considera usted en forma todavía?
Considering my age, I feel good, but it's a constant battle to stay fit. The cholesterol, all the good food I like to eat, that's a hard thing to do to keep fit. I love my ice cream, my cookies, and my candy, but staying fit is a struggle at my age.
¿En qué se gana usted la vida?
I make my living through my wife. She's a millionaire. I wish. No, I'm kidding. I don't have a millionaire wife. I'm retired from the airlines, and I have some compensation from the airlines. And living, making money is very hard. I don't consider myself a rich man, nor do I look to make money to live. I live life at the fullest I can, and I enjoy life. And my retirement and my wife's retirement helped me. I've met Bruce Lee in 1964. I saw his first exhibition in California, and in 1967 I studied with him at his school in Chinatown, Los Angeles. At that time, in 1967, I've studied with him, trained with him, and did personal training at his home in his backyard. And I owe a lot to Bruce Lee because of his philosophies, his theories, concepts, and training in the martial arts. He opened my mind in a whole new world in martial arts.
Su amistad con Bruce Lee, su vida.
Bruce Lee had changed my life in many ways. When I first saw his exhibition, it changed my life in that martial arts for him was true martial arts. It was the real deal in real fighting for self-defense. His martial arts was true. I learned the truth in martial arts and not pretending to be a martial arts. Where, for instance, when I was teaching at the women's self-defense class, I invited Bruce Lee. And the technique that I was doing, he asked me truthfully, he says, Richard, is this technique you're doing really going to help protect a petite young lady? And when I looked at what I was doing for this women's self-defense, I honestly answered no, it wasn't going to help these petite young ladies. And he says, well, you need to change the technique because one technique is not going to fit all these women. So it was the truth in my discovery that I had to adjust my training to fit each individual's physical and mental ability. And from then on, I changed my technique to fit its individual ability. And so that's how we changed my martial arts. His martial arts was the real deal. He was truth in the martial arts and not pretending to know how to fight when people can just do forms and not make no physical contact. His training was real in physical resistance.
¿En cuántas revistas importantes ha aparecido?
I've been very fortunate. I've been in many martial arts front cover magazines. One of my students who collects martial arts magazines has counted over 30 front cover magazines that I've been featured in. And it's not that I counted, but he gave it to me where he had counted at least 30 martial arts magazines that I've been featured in. Black belt, inside gold full, combat magazines, and I can go on and on about how many magazines I've been reading.
Usted la expansión del Jiu-Jitsu en España, en Europa y en el mundo.
Bruce Lee's Jiu-Jitsu in Spain and in Europe is interesting. Jiu-Jitsu is each individual's own way of martial arts, and when you have people like Fausto Jimenez in Málaga, Spain, he has his own take on martial arts, and he's showing true martial arts where he knows what is real martial arts. And all over the world, not only in Europe or in Spain, but everybody has their own connotation on their ability to do martial arts. And Bruce Lee's philosophy of martial arts, it has to be simple, direct, and uncomplicated. That's Bruce Lee's Jiu-Jitsu, and people like Sifu Fausto have continued to present the concepts, philosophies, and theories and training method of Bruce Lee.
¿Qué planes tiene usted para el futuro?
My future is already set. I can plan it, I can schedule it, but things change. And so I just go with the flow in my martial arts, and I continue to teach the martial arts. I enjoy it, it's not work. And I enjoy to meet people like the people in Spain. And I will continue to do this until something else happens.
¿Gusta España?
I love Spain. I've traveled many countries, the Asian country, Africa, Europe, South America, and it's the people that make the country. It's not the country that make the people. Spain has a lot of wonderful people. I've been to a lot of wonderful restaurants and beaches, and I love Spain, and that's why I come back every year to Spain.
Gracias por su visita. Nos sentimos muy honrados de tenerlo entre nosotros a una leyenda de las artes marciales.
It is all my pleasure to be in Spain. I enjoyed the weather, the wonderful restaurants, the beaches, the beer, the cigarillo, and of course the women. I hope I get invited back again next year. Maybe I'll bring my wife. Thank you, Spain.
Thank you.